Welcome aboard. I'm Ted Everingham, and this is Great Lakes Log from WMTV at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial. Welcome to Grosse Pointe Yacht Club. We've come here today to part of spring. We're going to talk about the Great Lakes Boating Festival, which will be here at the Yacht Club, starting May 16th. And two of the people here to talk with us about that who've been involved with this and its predecessors for longer than I care to think about are Mark Weber. Mark, good again.
Good to see you, Ted. Thank you for hosting the show and doing all that you do in the community.
Well, thank you. Jim Morrow. Jim Morrow's the boss man. Mark works for him, and I work for him.
Jim.
Both of you are past Commodores here at Grosse Pointe Yacht Club,
Correct.
which, by the way, is celebrating its centennial this very year. Is that
That's
right?
correct. Yes.
Correct.
A lot going on. How long has the boating festival been going on, Jim?
Oh boy. You see our gray hair?
This is the 26th event that we've done, 26th Great Lakes Boating Festival, and it's going to probably be the biggest one we've ever done. From the participation and the excitement that's going on with vendors, it looks like this is going to be a really big show.
You think a little healthier economy is helping?
I think so. We have over 70 boats already signed up to come in, and we're now getting requests for more.
70?
And
70?
Correct. And they're coming in from all over Lake Erie and Michigan. We probably have about 6 dealers this year that we haven't had in the past. And so this is significantly larger than any one we've ever done in the past. So we're pretty excited about it, and we're very hopeful that spring will eventually come and that it will cooperate with us. From a
This
weather
has
standpoint.
grown to a major community event, not only for Grosse Pointe, but the whole region, to promote boating and also sailing and boating activities. Jim's done a marvelous job over 26 years of developing this program to be something unique and substantial in the area.
Well, both of you have done a lot about this, but Mark, you're right. I can remember, Jim, when we first did a TV show, a Great Lakes Log TV show to promote the boating festival, we thought, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do, invite the public to a private club? The point is that anyone can come to the boating festival.
It's open, free admission. It's open to the public. And there are a lot of different events, not just boats. So it's a boat show. It is a boating. So we've tried to have events, a number of different events that are good for the whole family, if you will, to spend some time looking over the new boats, but also looking over the facilities and just kind of getting a good feel for Lake St. Clair and where we spend time here.
This event starts on Friday the 16th of May.
Correct.
And continues basically all day on the Saturday, and then concludes on the Sunday. So it's 16th, 17th, and 18th of May.
Right. Starts Friday at 3 till, and then we have the party, which we'll probably talk about later.
Yep.
And then on Saturday, the hours are noon to 7, and on Sunday, noon to 5, and then we conclude with some raffles at the end on Sunday afternoon.
Let's get to the raffles in a minute. Talk about why this is a family-wide event, Mark. We've talked about 70 boats in the harbor and in the parking lot. I know you're really tied into the things on the side of the club toward Lakeshore.
Correct.
Where the flagpole is.
Right. We really to make this into a family affair, not just coming and looking at boats. And so we really promote spouses coming, and especially kids, to come and not only view the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club, but to view everything that's going on here. And during the I think a marvelous display in the front that I think everybody will love. We've got the Miss America 10, that's the boat Miss America, who won the 1932 Harmsworth Trophy right out here in front of the Yacht Club, which Yacht Club sponsored that race, so to be a major attraction. We've got the American Antique Outboard Motor Association coming in with a whole series of old outboards, which I think would really be fascinating to see. We've got Jim Ramsey and his group bringing in cycles and antique motorcycles, antique cars coming in, should be displayed all over. The fast Mark Webber is bringing in the hydroplane, the unlimited hydroplane again, and many antique boats and cars spread out. So people could spend a lot of time out there while the boating people can be looking at boats at the same time.
Dad kicks tires.
That's right, kicks
figuratively
tires,
speaking.
right.
Right. There is a lot going on. I know you've got Dawson coming back,
Right.
the Dawson Museum. Museum from Belle Isle will be here with a display. Something from the Henry Ford House up the road.
We're talking to them and
Edsel
possibly,
and Eleanor
yeah.
Ford House. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. Great. Jim, you talked about Friday evening. That is an open to the public, but that's free. That's the fundraising event, right?
Correct.
Tell me about that.
Well, the boat show is put on by the Grosse Pointe Youth Nautical Education Foundation, which is a 501c3 foundation. This weekend, in total, fundraising opportunity for all of the events that we sponsor and the projects that we provide grants to during the course of the year. Friday night is the Summer Breeze Party, which is our party. It's our fundraiser party. It is from 7 o'clock until whenever in the evening. It includes an auction that we have some phenomenal auction items this year. and just a general fun. Tickets are $100 a ticket. $60 is the cost of the food and so forth, and $40 is a tax-free donation should you want to do that. And it is an open bar, so all call at the $100, open bar from 7 to 9, and so cash bar after that. But it's a real fun evening, and we normally draw near 300 people for that event. And again, it's open to anyone in the area that wants to attend. You just need to call the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club and make a reservation. And we look forward to that evening as a really great party. And it's really kind of a kickoff for the boating season as well.
Yeah, it is. It kicks off the boating festival, but it kind of kicks off summer in Grosse Pointe.
Correct. So not only Grosse Pointe Yacht Club members, we'll have folks from other clubs who also join us. Some of the vendors will bring customers here for that event as well. And as I said, we expect 300 people for that particular dinner. So it's just a fun night, and I've got some phenomenal raffle items that'll be going off that night. So we're pretty excited about it.
We're displaying from time to time during the program the website address, GreatLakesBoatingFestival.com. Assume that all we've talked about and all we will be talking about is available right there.
That's correct.
Including a telephone number to call for
Right.
reservations for the Summer Breeze Party on Friday night.
Right.
Okay. What do you do with bad weather?
For the party, it doesn't impact that at all, but for bad weather, if we have bad weather, and we've had a couple of times in the past where weather has been somewhat inclement, what's interesting is when the weather is really good, most people want to go to boat shows. So the best is something in the middle.
You want mediocre weather.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And but our facility is well protected, which is
Yeah.
one of the things that makes us a real advantage. And so even with high wind or cooler temperatures, people, and they'll come to the event, and we're able to accommodate them well. There'll be food and other things here for people to do during the course of that weekend. And again, we've tried to make it into a festival, not just a boat show.
Yep.
You know, what's interesting about a particular boat show is the dealers and the manufacturers love it, because the people that typically come here really are interested in looking at boats. And because of the way we've set this up, they have the time to actually get on the boat, talk to the representatives in the dealer boat, and generally we get some very serious boaters coming to this boat show, and not only viewing the boats, but having a lot of fun with their families at the same time.
And these boats range in size from 15, 16 feet to
70 feet. Well,
Your boat, Ted, your boat.
There's some very large boats that will be in for this event, and as I said, excuse me, I had a call this morning from before we got here for some people wanting to bring additional boats. So we're to a point early having to cut it off because we just we're running out of space.
That's a really great problem to have.
It's the first time we've had to do that, that's
Yeah.
right. And it is a good problem, and we're trying to work through the logistics, but it's going to be great. And then, as part of the boat show, these raffles that we have been provided, product has been provided by our sponsors, okay? So, for example, Gooley Cadillac, Don Gooley Cadillac, has provided a Cadillac that we're going to raffle, and it's a 2-year lease on an ATS, or $10,000 against any other model of Cadillac that you want to purchase and or lease. And so that raffle is at 5 o'clock Sunday. The second one is a whaler, 13-foot Boston whaler and trailer. And that you will be raffled and offered during the course of the weekend as well, raffled at 5 o'clock Sunday. And you can take that one home with you. It's yours if you win it, or you want, Pete will help you make it a larger boat.
Pete Beauregard.
Pete Beauregard and
Colony
Colony
Marine.
Marine and Ray Latham Motor Village are the two primary sponsors on that who've donated the boat. And that's a great program, and we've done the Whaler Fest, and a lot of excitement about winning the Whaler. And then the third one is a Rolex watch that's donated by the Ahee family, Ahee Jewelers. And they've been huge supporters of our program for a long time. Will be offered again over the course of the weekend. The drawing will be Sunday night. Now, the interesting part of the raffles is 2 of the raffles are limited raffles. Limited in that, on the Cadillac raffle, we will only sell 60 tickets, period. And so the odds are pretty good. And on the Rolex raffle, we only sell 125 tickets. And once we've sold the last ticket, it's done. Again, the odds are pretty special, and so it's always fun to names get pulled out of the hat Sunday night at 5 p.m.
And the tickets are available throughout, beginning Friday afternoon?
Exactly right, exactly right. So
But
you can buy tickets there at the show. There'll be people selling them at different places. And as we know, there's always a rush at the last minute to buy tickets right up to the 5 o'clock deadline. Somebody wants to get that last ticket. But with the limited availability of both the Cadillac and the Rolex, we expect some of those will get during the course of the show.
I would expect so.
Right.
With the numbers you're talking about.
Right.
It does get bigger, Mark, every year.
It does, and I think we really try hard to facilitate the needs and interests of the boating, and especially for a good cause, which is our foundation, which I know we will talk about.
Yeah, you're both on the board of the Grosse Pointe Youth Nautical Education Foundation.
Correct.
Tell me, Jim, give me the 10,000-foot view of the history of that foundation, and then I want to talk about the things that the foundation has done, is doing, and will do.
We really started many years ago, before we became a foundation, in terms of raising funds to try to promote junior sailing programs for young people, not only at our club, but beyond our club. And as this began to grow over time, we formed the foundation about 4 years ago now, I guess. And as a result of that, we are now able to really leverage efforts into the community to promote high school, local activities, to learn to sail activities, to really promote and offer an opportunity in the community for people to expand what they do and enjoy life on the lake.
Give me some examples of things that the foundation, either of you, jump in here, things that the foundation has supported.
We've consistently supported sailing at the 2 high schools, and we're expanding beyond that. But this year, we've grants of $5,000 to Grosse Pointe South and to Grosse Pointe North.
$5,000 each.
Correct. And that's been a major influence to the sailing programs in the public schools. And Jim has worked hard to even expand that to their programs for youth sailing within the regional area.
So what, is there a restriction on the funds? What can they use the funds for, or is it up to them?
It's up to support the sailing program, and then I know South wanted to acquire some new sails, and we matched. You can tell them a little bit about the matching, which is really fascinating.
That was an addition. So
Yeah.
they came back to us at South and said, look, we need $8,500 for some new sails. and so that we can have our own set of sales as we race, because they all use borrowed equipment. And I said, fine, we don't want to buy you the sales, but we will match it. So you go raise half of it, and we'll match the other half. And they came back and said, well, we have our $4,250, and will you match it? And I said, yep, and we wrote them a check.
Wow.
So, and then the high schools also sponsor some of these regional events. And this past weekend, they sponsored, I think it was the Baker qualifier this last weekend. And we were a sponsor of that event and gave them funds for that sponsorship as well. So we work closely with the high schools. There's a lot of other activities that we do as well. One of the big ones is the U.S. Youth Chant that will happen this summer at Grosse Pointe Yacht Club. And we are a major sponsor of that event. And that's an international event with 170 of the world's best sailors that are here by invitation. It'll sail August 10 through 14.
Oh, kids.
All young people between the age of 15 and 19. And so we're a sponsor of that event. We have hooked up with a group in the inner city called Challenge the Wind, which is run out of the Greyhaven Yacht Club, which is a group of some retired Ford executives have taken on the task of trying to offer learn-to-sail activities to inner city young people. So we provided a grant to them this year, and we're very bullish on that program and really want to do more with them as we go. We have a program this year that we're doing called DART, which is Detroit Advanced Racing Team, which is an opportunity, is something new in the area, which is an opportunity to try to offer to some of the best sailors from the entire Detroit area an opportunity to take their sailing skills to the next level. This is something that other communities do in the East Coast. It's very prevalent. Program for us, so we're sponsoring that program right up front. So it's a pretty big commitment, and we hope that'll grow into significantly bigger event as well. In addition, we have a group which is sailing for autism, which is hooked up the Bayview Mackinac race, and we've taken on sponsorship with them this year as well. And so we really are looking at trying to expand the community efforts and the things that we're doing on a much wider scale, and pretty pleased with the activities that we've been involved with. And it seems that there are more and more opportunities that come along as part of that. And I guess the last item would be the scholarships.
I was hoping
Thought I
you'd
was
get
gonna
there.
forget that.
No, I
I
knew
was
you
going to
wouldn't.
remind you in case you.
We give out 10 college scholarships a year to folks in the community who are either within the DRYA activity or within the high school programs.
Let me, DRYA meaning Detroit Regional Yachting Association, Yacht
Correct.
Racing Association,
Right. And I'm not sure the number of clubs, but there are
mid-20s.
Right,
20
25.
clubs. And it really extends from Toledo to Port Huron, if you will, and some places in between. So there are 3 criteria for the scholarship. One is academics, obviously. 2 is a sailing resume. Not the best sailor, but a sailing resume, which includes your leadership activities and so forth. And then the last is to write 2 essays. We then have 2 250-word essays that we then take their names off and use as to try to enhance these different programs as we pass them on to the sailing directors. Next week is the deadline, and which is interesting because something with the kids, they always deliver all of the applications on the deadline day. Nobody's early.
It's like a tax return.
I don't know, it's amazing. But, and so the name scholarships, which are purchased, by the way, we have members and people that buy a scholarship. So for instance, this would be the Jim and Sandy Morrow scholarship, because I've purchased one, and then it would be given to a young person, but we have it on Sunday during the boat show weekend on the 18th. So the person purchasing the scholarship gets to meet the recipient, and we have a little ceremony where we pass out the checks and so forth, and then are able to recognize those bought the scholarships as well. So it's a nice ceremony, and it has really gained a huge amount of notoriety, if you will. I go to events and parents are, boy, they all know about it. And again, it isn't the best sailor, it's a sailor. And we'll give out 10. And it's really grown to be a big thing within our community and within the sailing community. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, go back to the name of this foundation, which it's the Grosse Pointe Youth Nautical Education Foundation.
And the interesting thing, Ted, it's a 501c3
Of course.
charitable organization, so any donations are tax deductible.
Well, the thing I'm impressed with, though, Mark, listen to Jim's description, is it is youth, it is educational, and it reaches well beyond the four walls of the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club. It
Correct.
started here, but it truly has become a community, even regional effort.
The fund is really beginning to make a significant difference in youth sailing within the whole area, and we just hope to keep plugging along.
I
And
predict
with
you
your
will.
help.
I predict you will.
Well, the foundation has a long name. Our website, it's gpynef.org.
Got it.
So we can get to that a lot easier than trying to spell that long name.
Oh, I can't spell the name.
No.
It's impossible.
All right.
So, you're doing a lot of good. A lot of it involves money, and the money gets raised principally through the weekend, May 16, 17, and 18, and the Great Lakes Boating Festival.
Correct.
More information about which is available on the website. It's going to be a rain or shine, great time,
It is. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
and folks are welcome along to this club or any club.
Correct.
And the admission is free. How do you make that happen?
Well, we're being pressed with that theory, but the boaters, the boat vendors who carry their goods in the tents and so forth, they pay a fee to be
Okay.
here. So that covers a little bit of the expense, not a lot, but some. And depending on the crowd and what the support mechanism is on top of it, we make in the future to do something rather than charge it. Now we've worked closely this year with MBIA, which is the Michigan Industry Boating Association, and Nikki Poland, who is the chair of that particular organization, the president. We supply them with some of our floating docks for their fall show, and they are working with us now to help promote our show. And they have 30,000 people on their addresses that they station to. And this will be the first year that we've had that kind of an extended reach with promotion from our program. So it should be interesting to see what we have in the way of people coming to the show.
Well, on my way here to tape program about the boating festival, I noticed that the Lake St. Clair Tourism Initiative has in its lead article this morning
Oh, really?
the boating festival. So more reach.
We really are starting to get extended reach, and that's good. People, if you think about it, the number of boats in the water, it's been a real hard winter here in Michigan, and now people are just anxious to get out, and there's been a lot of activity in terms of boat sales, people in the industry. If Pete Beauregard were here, he would tell you that they're really seeing an uptick and across the entire industry of interest and boat purchases and so forth. And that's all positive for our community, positive for the clubs, and I think going to make for a healthy year this year.
Oh, I think so. I think so. We're all more eager than ever for spring.
Yeah,
I would say. Well, the show's bigger and better than ever. You've got a lot of sponsors that help. You mentioned a couple or three of them. Are there others?
There are. I mentioned Don Gooley Cadillac, and I mentioned the Edmund T. Ahee Jewelers, who've been with us right from the get-go. And I mentioned Ray Latham and Colony Marine, the boat sponsorship. But beyond that, Munder Capital has been a sponsor. Fifth Third Bank is back this year as a sponsor for us, as well as, let's see, Munder.
Sterling.
Sterling Insurance is the one I almost forgot. I want to forget them. Those folks have been with us for a long time, and they've been really solid.
Grosse Pointe News has been
Great
helping us.
support from Grosse Pointe News. Joe
Right.
Warner.
Correct. Joe was in with us last week, and we talked about the show and some of the things the foundation's To couple all of this year with the 100th anniversary of the club, which we think is going to make this even bigger and better than it ever has been in the past. So we're pretty excited about everything that's
It's
going on.
exciting. It's, you know, since I started with you guys about the boating festival, and I've not missed one yet.
That's true.
It truly has gotten bigger and better every year. It's just a great way to spend a few hours on the weekend and do some good for some people, youth in our community.
It's always the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, and this year the calendar is as early as it ever is, just
Yeah.
because of calendar anomalies. But again, it's been the same calendar weekend, if you will, since we began the program, and so other people who have conflicting shows now are scheduling things around it, not on it, which has been a really good thing.
So you've arrived.
That's a
Well,
compliment.
I think so. I think so.
That's
It
a
helps.
good problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of be the
Yeah.
Grosse Pointe Yacht Club, such a lovely place, a beautiful place to visit at any time. I've always felt so welcome here, but there are people who drive past Grosse Pointe Yacht Club who've never been here. If nothing more, this is an opportunity to come inside what the place is like.
It's the 100th year anniversary, so come and have a great time. We have wonderful food here too, as well,
Yeah.
from the yacht club, and it'll be a great family weekend.
And family is a key thing
Yeah.
to mention. I brought down a couple here 2 years ago, I think, and the little guy was maybe 10 at the time, and I couldn't get him away from here. We have pictures of him on ice boats on the lawn.
Well, the ice boats will be back.
Oh, I hope he doesn't know.
And you know, a lot of new things. We'll have kayaks this year, and were they sailboards or the
Paddleboard.
Stand-up paddleboards.
Right, and you know, in addition to that, because it's not just boat displays, there's a lot of equipment displays, and we have the U.S. and the Canadian border people that are going to be here this year to answer any questions. I know people are concerned when they're on the lake, gee, what happens if I
Right.
cross the border, kind of a thing, and these folks have got the answers in terms of, shouldn't be intimidating, their rules, but this is what you need to know.
Yep.
And they were both very excited to be part of it again this year.
Jim, we're going to stop there. Thanks very much. Mark, great to have you
Thank
with
you,
us.
Ted.
We'll look for both of these fellows and a lot more of your friends in May 16, 17, and 18 at the Great Lakes Boating Festival. We'll look for you next time right here on Great Lakes Log.